Welcome back to Klepper's Corner. Today in history, the only show where we look at the calendar and say, hey, what if every date is secretly trying to overthrow the government, invent electricity, and publish a fairy tale all at once? And December 20th is bursting with enough drama to make Shakespeare say, dial it back, folks. It's a day where emperors fall, popes resign, kings get kidnapped, nations dissolve, movies flop, fairy tales get weird, and somewhere in Idaho, several men cheer at 4 light bulbs turning on like they've just summoned Zeus. So buckle up. December 20th is history's chaos buffet. Segment 1. Swords, croziers, and imperial overthrows. December 20th loves a good medieval meltdown. In 69 AD, Vespasian strolls into Rome like he's returning something to customer service. And poor Emperor Vitellius gets dragged out of hiding and loses the job and the benefits package permanently. Rome basically said, we've had 4 emperors this year, and frankly, we're tired. Can somebody install one who doesn't spontaneously combust? Flash forward to 1046. Emperor Henry III looks at the papacy and finds 3 popes fighting over the same chair. It's like the world's worst episode of The Bachelor, except the roses are written in Latin and everybody is guilty of simony. Henry forces a church council at Sutri, and suddenly 1 pope is exiled, 1 pope resigns, and the 3rd pope, Benedict IX, gets deposed so hard historians still wince. Henry installs Clement II and pats himself on the back, unaware that this reform movement will eventually empower popes to fight emperors. December 20th giveth, December 20th taketh away. And then 1192 hits, and Richard the Lionheart gets captured in Austria while traveling in disguise. The King of England, mighty crusader, hero of song, is recognized because he spent the 3rd Crusade insulting half of Europe. December 20th is basically keeping score at this point. In 1334, Jacques Fortier becomes Pope Benedict XII and decides Avignon is the new Rome. He commits to the place like a college freshman who really loves his dorm. The papacy stays put and sparks the Western Schism. December 20th, delivering religious chaos since before brunch was invented. Segment 2. Empires pivot, maps shift, and fairy tales get dark. On December 20th, 1699, Peter the Great looks at Russia's calendar and says, you know what this needs? A vibe shift. He moves New Year's Day to January 1st so Russia can look more European. This is the historical equivalent of saying new year, new me, and actually following through. Then comes 1803, the Louisiana Purchase Transfer. France hands the land to the U.S. in New Orleans, lowering 1 flag, raising another, and confusing thousands of people who woke up French and went to bed American without moving a foot. The German coast settlers see the Americans arriving and think, oh great, here come the people who don't season anything. Meanwhile, across the ocean in 1812, the Brothers Grimm published their first fairy tale collection. And let me tell you, these original tales were not Disney-friendly. Rapunzel gets pregnant. Snow White's mother is the villain. The stories are darker than a true crime documentary directed by Edgar Allan Poe. The Grimms didn't write fairy tales. They wrote emotional support nightmares. And on the same day, in 1812, Sacagawea dies, most likely at Fort Manuel, although some say she lived into the 1880s. Because, of course, December 20th gives us a historical mystery. It's the one day of the year that refuses to commit to a single version of the truth. Segment 3. Civil War ruptures and nearly an international showdown. December 20th, 1860. South Carolina says, we're out, secedes from the Union, and publishes an official document explaining that, yes, this is absolutely about slavery. Not tariffs, not abstract principles, slavery. It's refreshing when history actually says the quiet part out loud. A year later, December 20th, 1861, Britain loads up troops for Canada because of the Trent Affair. The U.S. had seized Confederate diplomats off a British ship, and Britain said, oh no you don't, not on our nautical watch. For a hot minute, America is fighting a civil war and nearly a global war at the same time. December 20th really embraces multitasking. Segment 4, inventions that lit the world, and sometimes literally. December 20th loves science. It absolutely loves it. In 1868, Harvey Firestone is born and eventually becomes the guy who looks at cars and says, "You know what these need? Tires that aren't terrible." The man industrializes rubber, befriends Henry Ford, and helps shape modern transportation, all while occasionally making business decisions that age like milk. Then, in 1879, Thomas Edison invites reporters to watch his light bulb glow at Menlo Park. It's the 19th century equivalent of an Apple keynote, except instead of revolutionary new titanium frame, it's, hey, this glows without catching fire. In 1938, Vladimir Zworykin patents the iconoscope, the first successful television camera tube, meaning this is the day we began the long, dangerous road toward reality TV. Then in 1951, scientists in Idaho flipped the switch and boom, 4 light bulbs powered by nuclear energy. 4. They cheer like they just discovered electricity for the first time because they sort of did. December 20th invents the atomic future, 1 small watt at a time. In 1957, the Boeing 707 takes its first production flight, officially ushering in the jet age. Finally, humanity can experience the joy of cross-continental travel and the misery of someone reclining their seat directly into your kneecaps. Segment 5, wars, heroes, and social movements. December 20th, 1915. The Anzac evacuation from Gallipoli is completed. It's the only part of that entire campaign that goes well. The troops sneak away using trick rifles and deception tactics so clever, even Houdini would have said, wow, show-offs. Then in 1940, Captain America Comics #1 hits the stands. And on the cover, Captain America punching Hitler before America even entered the war. Imagine being so committed to your stance that you start a fist fight a year early. In 1941, the Flying Tigers take flight in China, proving to the world the Japanese Air Force was not unbeatable. Their shark-toothed planes are so iconic, you could slap that design on a lunchbox and every kid would think they're a superhero. In 1956, the Supreme Court order desegregating buses arrives in Montgomery. The boycott ends. Martin Luther King Jr. rides the bus legally in the front. December 20th becomes the day nonviolent resistance proves itself, and the country shifts. Then in 1960, the Viet Cong is officially formed. So on the same date the U.S. celebrates civil rights victories, Vietnam quietly gears up for decades of conflict. December 20th contains multitudes, and some of those multitudes require helicopter support. Segment 6, culture, mystery, and catastrophe. December 20th, 1946. It's a Wonderful Life premieres and flops. America says, we want a feel-good Christmas movie, not a financial crisis wrapped in a nervous breakdown. Little did they know it would become a holiday religion. That same day, Uri Geller is born, the future spoon-bending psychic who mystifies CIA agents, magicians, and talk show hosts everywhere. December 20th brings both a heartwarming movie and a man who says he can melt cutlery with vibes alone. In 1968, the Zodiac Killer commits his first confirmed murders, a turning point in criminal history, and a turning point in America's relationship with ciphers, fear, and police frustration. December 20th does not do light and breezy. It does, here's a cultural trauma. In 1973, Spanish Prime Minister Luis Carrero Blanco is assassinated by ETA, reshaping the nation's political future. A symbolic moment of rupture that accelerates Spain's path toward democracy. December 20th dismantles dictatorships with dramatic timing. In 1987, the Doña Paz disaster becomes the deadliest peacetime maritime tragedy in history. Overcrowded ferries, missing safety regulations. A heartbreaking reminder that modern life is only as safe as the systems we build. Segment 7, colonial endings and contemporary crises. December 20th, 1989. Operation Just Cause begins. The U.S. invades Panama to remove Manuel Noriega. It's fast, controversial, and later declared illegal by the UN. A reminder that geopolitical decisions age like milk left on a Florida porch. A decade later, in 1999, Portugal hands Macau back to China. The final European colony in Asia ends. Macau becomes a special administrative region, a casino empire, and the place where every tourist loses at blackjack at least once. And in 2022, the Taliban bans women from universities. December 20th doesn't just give us history. It gives us the ongoing reminder that progress is fragile and human rights must be defended continuously. In conclusion, December 20th is a day where history doesn't walk. It sprints, trips, crashes into a political scandal, invents a light bulb, dissolves a nation, kidnaps a king, publishes a fairy tale, lights up Idaho with nuclear wattage, and then hands Macau back to China before settling in for a holiday movie marathon. It's a reminder that history happens in single-day bursts, and those bursts can reshape eras. December 20th is the fulcrum on which civilizations pivot, inventions ignite, and humanity redefines itself. Thanks for joining me on this wild chronological roller coaster. Until next time, keep questioning, keep laughing, and keep looking at the calendar with suspicion, because dates like December 20th prove they're up to something.